Thanks for coming out today. I normally say that at shows. Sorry, that's a habit. It's really cool to be. I was just saying to him that this is one of the most inspiring things I've ever seen, man. The school, and I was saying that if I, could study, go a few years back, I definitely would have come to the school. So you guys are really, really lucky, man. This is something really, really inspiring. So hats off to the team, and a big round of applause to everybody who made this possible. Yeah.
I was just saying to the guys a few minutes ago that firstly, thank you for getting behind this scholarship in such a powerful way. You've really embraced it and really taken it on board. And I was reminding the guys that let's not forget, the reason we have these scholarships is for young, creative, talented people who come from underprivileged backgrounds, and that in itself is just so powerful. So
thank you.
For you to become part of that is really special to us.
Yeah, man. For me, I look, when I was approached and they told me about the scholarship. First and foremost, it appealed to me to have a scholarship named after me. I'm not gonna lie, that sounded pretty cool. But most importantly, for me as an artist, people always talk about, you guys need to be giving back and what, and fees must fall and all these things, And for me, I just thought this is a really, really great opportunity to do something inspiring and to do something cool, because not too long ago, I think it was 2008, actually was a long time ago, I was also studying sound engineering, and I also wanted to produce music and become an artist and, just get my shit out there and, become a force, So it appealed to me to kind of help and contribute to something that I was. You guys are me a couple years ago, and hopefully, you guys will be something, not me, but in a position like mine in a few years, or not even in a few years, and not too long, which I think is pretty powerful.
Obviously, there's a Q&A, so we'll open up the questions, but I've got one or two questions for you.
Yeah.
Did you go to study sound engineering to be an MC, or were you an MC studying sound engineering?
Well, the story is that, in high school, I started making beats in 2002. Okay, that was my first year of high school. And I was 14 years old, and I always knew that I wanted to make music, and I was an artist, for lack of a better word. Well, I thought I was. And matric finished, and I thought to myself, okay, what am I gonna do now, And I did some research, and I realized, okay, if I tell my parents I want to do sound engineering, then that's pretty close to like having a qualification, but also like I can still be in studio and I can still be involved in the industry and stuff. So the reason I went to go study sound engineering, because I needed a qualification. My parents wanted me to have some sort of qualification, but I didn't want to go to like uni and study accounting or whatever, because I didn't have a passion for that. So I studied sound engineering because I knew that that could help me in my career, that I wanted to, be an artist, whether it was in studio or on stage or whatever. So that's why I went to go study sound engineering.
And how has it helped you? I mean, do you consciously sit there every now and then and go, wow, I'm lucky, glad I know that,
Yeah, I'm really glad that, when I studied, Pro Tools was the most important thing to me, because I had to be proficient in a studio. So Pro Tools is something that I still use every single day. I'm too lazy to learn Logic or to go learn even Reason. I'm stuck in my ways. I make beats on Fruity Loops still to this day, and still use like this is like a room of engineers, because people be like, yeah, when you say stuff like that. But anyway, I digress. So, for me, I use Pro Tools every single day in recording my music and making my music. And also, it's benefited me live, When I do a sound check, I know how to speak the language to the engineer, which a lot of other artists might not necessarily know. A lot of artists won't be able to say, okay, well, can you give me a half-second delay? And I need, can you just, I need more gain, and just the terminology. I know all of that because I know what the engineer is what background he's coming from, so I can speak his language, so he can understand me, so I can make my show better, so my show can sound better. I know about feedback, and I know about all these things. So that's how I use it in the live thing. But most importantly for me is, I'm the type of artist that is a bit of a control freak, you know. So when I finish a song and it's time for mixing, I'll send the song in for mixing. I'm not the type of artist to send the song to go mix and then do whatever the fuck I want to do, like, you know, and then come back and just listen to the song. I'm the type of person that will sit behind the engineer for maybe 2-3 days until the stuff is perfect. And, you know, I'll also be able to speak the language there. Say, oh, it sounds a bit like, you know, can't you give me more highs or more mids? And can we do like a, you know, so I know all of that type of stuff as well. So that's how it's helped me in terms of me and my artistry.
I don't think enough people understand that, you know, that it's so important to empower yourself, and that's something you do on all levels. I'm sure there'll be questions about, you know, you've obviously got quite a good structure, and you've empowered yourself on all different levels. Is that just who you are, or were you just driven in that way, or did somebody have to teach you that stuff?
I think it's also it has a big degree of, you know, what type of person you are, and what you want to become. You know, I've learned in this industry that if you take yourself seriously, you treat people how to treat you. If you on time, or you don't really care, or you kind of like, you know, then people will treat you like that. But if you treat yourself like super serious, people will treat you super serious because you've taught them that, you know. So in terms of me and the tools that I've learned and I've empowered myself with, I think that's something that I have always been about. I always, you know, when I was trying to make beats, I would go on the internet and I would like try and download Fruity Loops manuals, okay, and like try and read about how to do it the proper way. And I bought a book. There's this great book you guys need to learn. It's called Everything You Need to Know About the Music Industry by Donald Passman. I don't know if anybody's heard of that book. And I studied it even before like anybody wanted to give me like a deal. You know, I kind of like knew that I would need that type of knowledge in the future. So I've always been about empowering myself, and you know, that's important to give yourself the tools that you need to, you know, it is the music business, you know. So yeah.
Cool. Let's take some questions.
No questions?
That means you have to put your hand up here.
Yes,
there we go, over there. Wait for the mic, please. Just so you know, or you do know, we are streaming this on the interweb, so make sure you speak clearly in the mic. Thank you.
What's up, Super Mega?
What's up, bro?
Yeah, man. Can you please take us through like the songwriting process and yeah, just through that? Because I'd like to know how you and your team structured. Do you come up with the beats and then write the song there, or how do you do it? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what happens is I can't make music without beats. That's one of the reasons why. Actually, I started making beats first, and then when I was done making beats, I kind of had nobody to rap on the beats. So I thought, shit, I might as well just rap on the beats. And that's kind of how I started making music. But in terms of my process, I have a production partner who I produce with. He also is now the MD in my band, so he's the musical director for the band. And we sit down, and whether it's a sample or whether it's a song that I listen to that I got influenced by, we start making the beats. So even I'll watch a movie and then I'll like Shazam like a song that I like or whatever and use it as a sample, or samples are the greatest thing for me. I love samples because it can take you to a different place and time and nostalgia and whatever. Anyway, so I start with the beats, and then once we're done with the music, that's when I start, trying to write the music. But I don't write in studio. I never write in studio. I write in my car. That's where I make my music. I put the songs well, we used to have them on CDs. Now we've got like Bluetooth iPhones and stuff. So then I'll just put the beats on, and whatever I'm doing, riding around, whatever, that's how I'll come up with the music. And then later on, I'll get to studio and I'll have an idea, and then I'll just maybe rap gibberish, blah, 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 but I'll have the flows, and then I'll put the words in, and then I'll write the hook, and then the song is done. Some songs can take maybe like 2 months to make. Some songs can be made in a week. It depends. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Thanks.
Okay, another question. There's one in there. Just wait for the mic. Where's the mic? Guys, there are some seats. If there's a few seats over this side, I know there's 2. And if some of you want to come sit on the floor here, that's also cool. So let's just come in, get closer. Cool, there's 3 seats over that side. Okay.
It's a sold-out show, bro.
So what I wanted to ask you is in relation to hip hop and live music. You mentioned earlier about bands. I've noticed that within the culture of hip hop, the live elements has not yet become like the norm. And I was reading something about you. I don't know how true it is about the Back to the City thing that you wanted a band and stuff like that. So I just wanted to know, like, based on that, how do you feel? How important do you feel like this whole live element thing, and how much, if it is that important, like, what good can it bring to hip hop that we don't already have?
Okay, well, that's a really, really good question, man, and it's gonna be a really long answer. For me, I started much as a lot of hip hop artists start. It's you and your DJ, okay? So you and your DJ, you do shows, you do shows, you do shows, you do shows, until it got to a point for me where I realized that in order for me to break out of like just playing clubs or just playing this or just playing that, in order for me to do opikopi or for me to do certain type of corporates or bigger venues, arenas, stadiums and stuff like that, I'd need to have a better live show. So we made the investment and we made the decision about 2 years ago to make my shows all band. Okay, for the last 2 years, I've been playing more with the band than with just me and the DJ. 95% of the time when I perform is with the band. So just to clarify, it's not, Back to the City is not because I wanted a band. The band is standard with me, and it's been that way for 2 years now. The reason being is, because I want to elevate my live performance to a different type of level. I want to make it an experience, when you play with the band, you also have different type of flexibility, When you play with the DJ, a song is only so long, right? The MP3 is 3 minutes. So after the 3 minutes, what happens? The song is done. Now you're just doing your bars. Yo, let me kick this for a second. I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to have flexibility. So now maybe the track is done. Another band can keep playing and I can talk to the crowd now. And I can now sing a chorus again and make another hook. And, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have flexibility in my performance. The only person that I really think about before me who was really pushing band like this was Double HP. Double HP used to be like super renowned and is still very renowned for his band performance. But for me, it's a very big part of me as a live act. And now I'm starting to, last year I was the first, I think maybe Jack Parrow was, but I just like to say it because it sounds good. I think I was the first South African rap artist to play Opikopi the main stage, not like the Red Bull stage or the Ray-Ban stage, the main one where they close all the other ones and everybody comes to the main stage. And that was because we had put so much effort into the band. And now I'm proud to say that I think, when you see me now, you're seeing me less on, like, with all due respect, like AKA and Cuesta and El Tito, on the lineup. And you're seeing more of like AKA, Mikasa, Beatenberg, And the reason why is because of my band, and that's helped me in my career. So it all depends on what your music also sounds like, because some music is hard to play live. I'm also lucky that my music has like melodies and the type of musicality that allows for a band. So it all depends, to come back to your question, it all depends on what you as an artist want. What do you want to do with your show, and where do you want to take yourself? The band is not the be all and end all. Maybe like if you take an artist like Malum Cool Cat is not gonna work out with the band, and I doubt he even wants it to be. But that's why you can compensate. Maybe he wants like a Ableton set up and a DJ guy and a visuals guy. Toyota Corolla, with like the visuals. So it all depends on what you want, bro. Yeah.
Cool. Good question. Who's next? I'll take one here. Where's the mic?
Hello, AKA.
What's up, brother?
My name is William.
What's up, William?
I'd like to know what you think about the current state of hip-hop in terms of, like, these days, you have producers making very good beats, very dope beats, but the way the beats are set up, it doesn't promote lyricism. So
Yeah.
you get artists who don't really have lyrics, or who are not promoting that lyricism or
Yeah.
the core of hip-hop.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's a question to you. What is lyricism? What does lyricism really mean?
lyricism is the art of writing.
Yeah.
The art of writing is very poetic.
Right,
I won't say
right.
intelligent, but
Yeah.
you can't really say it's
The
intelligent.
technicality of the skill
the
of
skill
being
set,
able to write.
improvements,
So
yeah.
here's a question for you, right? I always believe that the best written music is like pop music or country music, right? If you think about it, okay, this maybe just go with me on this one. If you think of a Katy Perry song, right? It's a well-written song. I've got the eye of the tiger, fire, dancing through the fire. I am a, melodies. So is that not lyricism?
It's dope for what it is. Like, Eye of the Tiger is crazy, lyrically. Lyrically, like, it's really good. No, I'm serious.
But you mean in a hip-hop context?
But in the hip-hop context.
Right. Well, just to address your point then, I think that every artist has their own vibe. Not everybody can be Kendrick Lamar. Not everybody can be J. Cole. But you as an artist, you need to find your comfortable space and what allows you to articulate your message, whatever your message is, because people got different messages, Everybody has a different upbringing, a different story. If you're asking about producers giving people the platform to be lyrical on music, I think the relationship between a producer and an artist is very important. There would be no Metro Booming if Metro Booming wasn't close to Future. If 40 wasn't close to Drake. Artists and producers, they need to kind of stick together and craft a sound, So as an artist, you need to find a producer who lets you be the best artist you can be. And as a producer, you need to find an artist who allows you to bring your music to life, I think. But in terms of lyricism, it's a matter of taste, Some people believe in old school, like the style of lyricism, and some people, have a different view on it and whether how important it is. But I'm not saying it isn't important because, at the core of it, hip hop, if we think about it in a very like KRS type one way, it definitely has those, elements and those elements are to be honored. Yeah.
I think one of the challenges also with a lot of MCs that are young is that it's not just about lyrical content, it's also about melody.
Yeah.
You can rap 8 bars, but if you can't create a melody that's strong, then you haven't got a song.
I suppose it's about artistry, man. The great artists are the ones who can be lyrical and can also be successful. Not necessarily you have to be commercially successful, but can you create a career out of your art? That's what we all do this for, Otherwise, we'd go work at call centers, But it's about can you make a living out of your art? Kendrick Lamar is an extremely lyrical artist, but Kendrick Lamar also has like 1 billion Grammys now, and he has a classic album and whatever. That doesn't mean that art is any more respectable than, let's say, what Fetty Wap does. You know what I mean? So it's all different strokes for different folks.
Cool. There's another question over there. I think you got the mic.
Yeah, what's up, AK?
What's up, bro?
So first of all, I'm the guy that interviewed you on Bush Radio.
Oh yeah,
The telephonic one. So listen,
What's
now
up?
I host the show, the breakfast show, and I have a all hip hop show that happens on Tuesdays, and I get probably like 50 rappers per week. So I want to know, my question to you is, why is that all the rappers that who come to the studio all feel like they have to move to Joburg to become famous, or for their work, to change? Because Cape Town artists are so. They keep talking about the industry that's not in Cape Town, and that if you look at the top 10, it's all Joburg artists. You are of course originally from Cape Town, but now you're living in Joburg, and you're defined as a Joburg artist now. So what does
definitely.
So these up and coming kids, they want to be famous. Do they need to go to Joburg to become famous? Will it happen in Cape Town?
But you see, they want to be famous.
Yes.
You see?
No, but still push the music, of course.
That's a dangerous term, but I do get what you're saying. Look, it's important to remember that Cape Town is where South African hip-hop was born, correct? Yeah. This is the birthplace of South African hip-hop music. But it is tricky when it comes to the media, because you want to get the right type of, radio airplay maybe. Yeah. Or I'm just saying if you want to be, I don't like it, but we're going on if you want to be famous now. Okay, cool. So if you are an artist who shows up to your show, number one, the first question is, yes, you can rap, but do you have a song? I always tell people, if you want to, break into the music industry, you just need one song. One song can change everything for you. And then we'll open the door for you to put out another song, and then you put out an EP or an album, and you shoot a video, and you're going to, then before you know it, you're famous, right?
10 years later.
Exactly, 10 years later. But the first question you got to ask them is, what are you like as an artist? Because you host a radio show, right?
Yeah.
And you have to play music.
Yeah.
So what are you like as an artist, number one? If your music is good, and if your music is shit, I don't like saying commercially viable, but you guys kind of get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Then you need to make do with what you have really in Cape Town if you want to stay in Cape Town and make it work. You have radio stations, there's Good Hopes, there's Bush, there's campus radio, and there's a following. I think the best person to look at right now in terms of Cape Town is like Youngster, or what Youngster is trying to do. He's getting on songs with Doomy, he's starting to get a little bit of a national following. So if you want to exploit the media, unfortunately there is a lot of media in Joburg, and that's the easiest way.
Yeah.
But you can also do it the route of the internet, man. The internet is powerful. Start a SoundClick page, start a SoundCloud page, start a Facebook fan page, get your Twitter, following, just make t-shirts, bro. Just pour everything that you can into, because there's no point of sitting here and saying, oh man, well, we don't have the media and we don't have this and we don't, because that's where you're going to stay forever.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good answer.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cool. Next question.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Robin. During last year's protests, I know you did mention the fees must fall. You were quite vocal at one stage about, the backlash that some people were giving you about your personal life. But that's not my question. My question is the scholarship kind of your way of, putting your money where your mouth is, so to speak?
I don't think, I think me talking about fees must fall is like an afterthought of when the scholarship came through and when everything, kind of came to fruition. I think I only thought about fees must fall, when, my people told me, okay, cool, this is what the situation is, and explained to me SAE and Bridges for Music and what the whole story is about. Then I thought, yeah, but that also kind of ties in with fees must fall. That's, the extent I thought about it. But to address your question, yes, I think that is a way to contribute. Education is a big, big thing in our country right now, and the affordability of education. And for me to be able to, help give an opportunity to 4 people, who knows, maybe the person who, gets the scholarship or whatever, or anybody that's at the school, in a couple years, they'll be sitting on this stage and people will be asking them questions, So for me, I think, to a degree, it does kind of address that. But I also I don't know if I agreed with, there was this thing going on a couple months ago where people were asking, okay, how much money are you going to donate? How much money are you going to donate? We want you to donate money. And for me, I at the time, I didn't think it was the right thing to just and then step back. It wasn't solid. And this, I think, is something inspiring. This is something that can live for years and years and years. Yes.
Cool. Next question. We have one here, and then one question a person. Sorry, bro. Okay, we'll take one there first.
What's up?
Sure. My question is, as an artist, as you are right now, how do you stay relevant? I mean, we've been hearing AKA since 2009.
It's actually quite simple, bro.
And so how do you do it? Like, how do you tell the next person?
The first rule to staying relevant is to make hot shit. True story. As long as you make hot shit, you'll be fine. But besides that, in order to make hot shit, you need to be inspired, man. You need to be inspired by the fact that you don't. I feel this is Walt Disney and this is cliche, but I really do feel happy that I don't have to work a regular, job, or that I've been able to build this life for myself off of my talent, and that inspires me, and I don't take it for granted because, I was watching this interview the other day that Michael Jackson did, and he said that music is a spiritual thing, okay? So follow me on this one. Music is a spiritual thing. Music is the connection between the material, these ill sneakers I got on, or a nice Benz, or a fat booty, or whatever, you know? Like the material things, and the divine, which is God, and things that you can't, and music bridges the gap between those two realms, right? So what I'm saying is, I have the gift to make you happy. I have the gift to take your mind off your problems. I have the gift to take your mind to a different place, and I never take that for granted. And that is what inspires me to make better music, and to make better videos, and to give 1,000%. If I'm on stage and I feel a little bit tired, and then I look there and this person is connecting with me, and then it makes me 10% more energized. Those are the things that I hold close to my heart, and that is why I make hot shit. Yes.
Well said. I think that's one of the things that is lost in a lot of music these days, is people make music to be famous instead of to making stuff from the spirit, you know, no matter how that manifests itself. Cool, next question. Okay, the mic over here, please, and then we'll come to you. Where's the mic? Okay, there we go. And then we'll come over to you over there. Cool.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Coming back from the days of Entity. Yes. The come up from Entity.
Yeah, man.
What did AKA do to break out of Entity and become a standalone guy? You know, like you get groups like Backstreet Boys, Westlife, One Direction. At the end of the day, they will break out. What made AKA leave Entity?
Well, it's important to remember that this group Entity was, I was a kid, man. I was, 14, 15 years old. All I wanted to do was go to the mall, have girls know me, get their numbers, and hear my song on radio, and see my face on TV. That's all I wanted at that point. When I was young, 14, 15 years old, you know, I just wanted to, like, you know, be part of the wave, man. You know, at that time, there was stuff like Zubs, Listeners Digest, Proverb, was Squatter Camp, Specs. It was that era. Amu, those guys. And for me and my guys, we were just schoolmates, and we found an opportunity. We found some way and somehow to MacGyver the system, and we found a deal. Bear in mind, we never made any money. We never saw any money from that. Not 1 cent from a show, not anything. But it was cool because we were just going on the ride, man. I mean, we were on boats, spinning cars, rapping about cars that we never even drove a car in our whole life, you know. But we were just that was our youthful energy. We just wanted to get on. And then we matriculated, and when it was time to matriculate, the other two guys, their parents weren't really, you know, that kind of supportive. One went to go study law, the other guy went to go study politics or whatever. And I was the only one left. So I told my parents, let me go study sound engineering. I studied sound engineering for a year, decided I need to make some money. So I went to go work for the SABC. I was mixing radio ads for Supersport. They were dope radio ads, though. It was super sick because, you know, I was a producer, I'm an artist. And the SABC had this library, all right? The SABC library. And you could type in a artist. So what I'm trying to tell you is I got all my samples from there. Anyway, so it was like a cool setup for me. And then, you know, I naturally progressed to just starting producing for other artists and making. So it wasn't like I'm leaving thing. It was just people grow up and people grow apart. And then, you know, this is where I am now. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I had a question over there.
Hi, AKA.
Hello.
Okay, I'm Jackie. I'm from a newspaper called Cape Township Times. Mm-hmm. And first of all, just to thank you and commend this.
Thank you very much.
It's really quite something, especially coming from artists. Coming from artists, for people to know that you guys, we dispel that notion that you guys just are superstars and you don't give back. Yeah. My question, if you had R1 million to spend in a township, in Cape Town, what would you do?
That is a really, really good question. If I had $1 million to spend in the township, whether it be Langa or the Flats or Coogs or wherever, I would probably try and do something like this. You know, I have a lot of, you know, aunts or uncles, cousins or whatever, and they live in like places where, you know, poverty, what's that saying about idle hands, you know, and the devil's work and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? People need opportunities. People need to be inspired. So if I had $1 million, I'd probably build like a football, like a soccer, like a facility, or I'd build like a community radio station, or I'd build like you know, something that'll keep people out of trouble and keep their minds focused on equipping themselves with something that they can use to get out of their situation. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you were just telling me about, you know, workshops that you guys do, you know, in the hood and stuff like that. So I think that's definitely what I would do. But bear in mind, $1 million is not really that much money anymore. You know, well, R1 million.
Not to the exchange rate.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, that's what I think I would do. I don't know. People would maybe do other things, but there's so many problems and things that we face in those areas that, you know, everybody probably has a different plan how to spend that $1 million, and that's what I think I would do.
Cool. We're going to take 2-3 more questions. There's one down here.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
My question is, like, how do you stand out? Because, like, a lot of people, when it comes to so-called music or hip-hop, they try to do what's in trend. If it's trap, they do trap. If it's this, they do that. Like, do you recommend, like, not that they want to be famous, but they want to send a specific message, right? Would you recommend that you do what is being done so that they see you and then you send out your message, or do you stand out differently from the rest of the crowd? Because if you notice, music from the older days, people did their things in their way. You know? Whatever they felt, they said it like that, right? But in these days, music is so similar that a song doesn't last that much anymore.
Yes,
you know, like, a person will say, this is my favorite song, but they don't know the lyrics to it. They only know the chorus, you see. So, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think your question is really about longevity, you know, and a longevity of your music and longevity of you as an artist. So let's go pick up what you're talking about. Let's talk about trap music, right? So we can't deny that even me, you know, I love trap music. I love Travis Scott. I love Metro Booming. I love all those guys, you know, and it's impossible for us to make hip-hop music without listening or enjoying or to some degree being influenced by what happens overseas. It's impossible. You know, it's like saying you want to do fashion, but you don't read Vogue and you don't like watch runway shows and stuff. You know, everybody has to get inspiration from everywhere. But I feel specifically, and I tried to do it with my second album with Levels, you know, is the only thing that can take us abroad and out of our own country is if we do and we use the tools that we have as South Africans, right? If we use more South African, like old school sample, I'm just thinking from my own perspective now, more South African, you know, old school samples or our influences or our parents' music, and try and make it into a new genre and mix it with trap and whatever. You know, the reason why Malum Cool Cat and the Unvert and these guys are so big outside of our borders is because overseas they want something new. You can't out Future. You can't out Meek Mill. Why would the guys overseas want to hear a South African Meek Mill? But then again, maybe here in South Africa, it's fine, you know, because maybe our standards are not as high with regards to hip-hop music, all right? But I definitely feel that we have a responsibility, especially if you want to take yourself out of just South Africa and go tour Europe and whatever. You need to have something unique in your music. You know what I'm saying? I don't frown on people who make trap beats or trap music. It's all expression, you know. However people want to express themselves, that's fine. But I think, especially with me, I have a responsibility to my industry and to South Africans for me to put, you know, Brenda Fassie in the music and make it 2015 or take, you know, I told people I wanted to take house music and make it how many house sample songs you heard now? You understand? And I don't want the credit for that. But for me, the ultimate reward is to be able to guide and maneuver and say, actually, guys, let's try do this and lead people. That's what it means, for me to be a leader. That's what I think is important. I know I ramble a bit too much, but I have a weird way of answering questions. It's like...
The other thing is that, like, people tend to be, like, for example, want to be the next AKA or the next Eminem or the next Jay-Z, whereas they can only be one of that person. You know, you can't necessarily be that person or do what they did because they did it in that way.
Yeah.
What you say, like, they were telling their story. You can't tell someone else's story. It won't mean as much if it's not coming from.
I think I get what you're saying. I also just think that the world is ready for a new story. You see, WizKid didn't get on these songs with Drake and whatever and start taking over the world by sounding like August Alsina. He did that by sounding like WizKid. That's the only way for us to do it.
Okay, we're going to take one more question. Don't forget, after this, AK's manager, Benza, is kindly offered to do 20, 30 minutes. So you can ask questions about management,
Can I ask
the
him
business.
questions too?
You can if you want. You guys are making my... you guys are making my job really easy, by the way. Really great questions. We'll take one last question over there.
Yo, what's up, AK?
What's going on, G?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Cool. I wanted to find out, like, what direction are you taking hip-hop? Because you're well-established in hip-hop now. So what genres are you mixing into hip-hop right now? Because I heard a bit of funk in one of your new songs that you've done. So
Well, I think... for me, one of my heroes in terms of artistry is Outkast. Every Outkast album sounded different from the last one. They never repeated the same sound twice. So for me right now, the first album was done just like Fruity Loops, like basic samples. It was my first album. What did I know? My second album was more dance, house influence, pop influence. But this next album is gonna be more... It's going to take a lot of old South African stuff and try and turn it into an African stuff, maybe like fella type style stuff. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I have to kind of make it sound current, but not trap. It's like Life of Pablo, right? It's not trap music, but it's got trap elements to it. But it's gospel. It's weird, I want to find a way to make something new. So it's always a process, man. I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew exactly what I'm gonna do. But I'm taking it song by song by song. Like that song that you heard on Live Amp. It's called One Time. It's a sample of an old South African song. I think it's got a bit of a As Good As Nice type vibe to it. And we took it and I made it into a pop song. And then the next song will probably be I put on Instagram a clip last night. I took this Kaifes Siminya song and I didn't sample it. Sometimes we listen to the songs and we look at their melodies and we don't sample the songs. And then we replay stuff. So, I'm trying to do all those different types of things. But I'm definitely not going to make trap music on my next album.
So it's a never-ending journey, yeah? Cool. That's it. Thank you so much, bro, for your time.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, man. Is this my cue?
Thanks for coming down. Don't get up, okay? AK is not leaving just yet. He's going to do some interviews. He's going to speak to Benza, and then I'm sure he'll do a few photos before he leaves, okay?
Yeah, man. I'd like to meet you guys and talk to you guys. And, if there's any more questions you guys have. I got a sick photo on the wall. I'm out.
So,
Hello, everyone.
any artist who's doing anything in this world has a good manager. Yeah, you guys are tight, and I'm sure I've been through lots of ups and downs on this journey. Management is a very not all about management, but I want to open up to the students and whoever else is here. I'm sure you guys have got questions on management. So, any questions? Come on, don't be shy. There we go. There's a question over there. There's an opportunity to ask things so that when you leave here, you have the knowledge. Okay, so don't be shy to ask. It doesn't matter what you have in your mind.
Hello. What's happening? My question is about on AKA's last album, he had a song called Daddy Issues that sampled Frank Ocean. and like you're the manager, so I guess you would know like about like how they handle the sampling situation and how they got all that cleared.
Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for coming. Well, our publisher handle most of those kind of samplings. We acknowledge who the original sound is from, and we send over to our publisher. I think South Africa has about 10 or 12, but the most popular ones are Universal, Gallo, Sheer, and then also John Fishlock. You just send in the sample, send in the song, and then they forward it to the artist and whoever the rights owner is, and then they make a calling. If they like the music, they like how it sounds, it represents their original work, then they approve it. They also then take a share of your earnings. I know, but I'm just giving the whole. I'm just giving the. I was gonna say that, but I figured I'd just give you a whole sampling process, just so you know, for all of you too as well. All right.
It's a complex thing, sampling, and there are different ways of doing it. Some guys will just put a sample in, put the track out, and wait to get sued. It just depends, But generally, legally, you have to have it cleared. What has happened in many cases, you put a track out with a sample, and the track blows up, and the original owner of the sample comes to you and goes, "I want 100%." And you go, "Well, I'm not giving you 100%. And you go, "Well, I'll sue you." And they have that control. It depends how big the artist is. It's all business. It's the value of that sample. How big was the original track? How recognizable is the sample? And how is it going to influence the track and make this track successful? Cool. Next question at the back there.
Shut up, Benza. My question to you is, how is being an artist manager different from being like a store manager where you handle people, but here you're merely focusing on one person? How is it two different jobs but with the same kind of similar title?
It's actually quite similar. Yeah, it's actually quite similar. As a store manager, you're looking after the product. You're also looking after that the product that stay clean and stay fresh, and that people come to your store and buy the product. That's pretty much the same thing. I mean, when we look at AKA, there's different facets of an artist like AKA. On one, we can use the analogy of your store. One shelf is the songwriting, another shelf is the production, another thing we supply is his live shows, his brand, his image. So it's like that. We manage all different the product that AKA produces. So it's like a store manager. You want to make sure that you do your accounting, make sure that you have a new product to supply to the audience. You make sure that you collect your money. You make sure that you do your monthly checks, and you then order for some more and you supply some more. So it really is right. It's really like a store manager is the same thing as an artist manager.
Except the stores don't throw tantrums, but the staff do.
The staff do.
Cool. Next question. Here we go. There's one here and one there. Let's take one there first, and then we'll come to you.
Hey, what's up? I'd like to know how, obviously the business side in the music industry, it's needed. It's something that has to be there. But how do you get your foot into handling the business side of the music industry?
Well, there's two ways of doing it. You can actually go to school, university, and just learn business management or music. And then the other way of doing it is just being really, passionate and infatuated about the music and about the artist that you sort of hang around with. You see someone and you think I can add value to his career, and then you kind of like learn as you go. You kind of learn from different kind of conferences set up like this. You can also read it up online, check out videos on YouTube. You can do it that way, and then you can also do the way where you come from a formal educational process. Let's learn business management, learn accounting. There have been a lot of business managers, very successful ones, who were formerly lawyers, who were formerly accountant that became a business manager, because it's called a business manager. Even though it deals with the art, you're still managing a business. You're still managing a store. You're still managing, You know, you're still managing someone's career. You're still managing a doctor's office. You're the manager that takes care of the demand and supply, and also the accounting of this, this product that the artist delivers to you.
Cool. Another question over here. Where's the mic, please? Oh, you got it.
Hello? Okay.
Yeah.
A friend of mine recently sent me a song of a great artist he produced, and he told me they would like to sign a deal with her and manage her. So the question I asked him was, what would you offer the artist? So he couldn't really give me a proper, clear answer of what he would offer the artist. So I'm transferring the question to you because you have more experience. Like in that case, you find a great artist. What do you offer the artist?
Okay. Well, I mean, our primary job is to create a demand for our artists. So creating a demand for our artists is using elements of marketing, setting him up in an environment that will make him produce hot music, linking up with all our networks and our connections to make sure that he can get into front of the queue for radio, video play, and then also for distribution of his music. So that's the main job of a manager, is to create a demand for your talent. And there's so many ways of doing it. So that's the first thing I'll ask. How would you create demand for this talent? Give us the steps that you would use. But one thing that you should be, that should actually try to surpass all that is the personality of the character. The personality of the character has to be humble, but not in the humble way of like quiet, but in the humble way that he's doing this because he wants to make sure that the artist shines. That's the one thing. Another thing is that he's passionate about this artist and the artist's music. That's very key. You can get someone who's an expert, long-time managers, they have a law degree and have this degree, but if they're not passionate about your talent and they want to be the star as much as you, I'll be very worried. And those are the two things that you should actually look at as well.
Cool. Next question. There's one at the back there. There's two at the back. Yep.
Hi. I just wanted to ask you, how important is the relationship between the manager and the artist, and like the relationship between you and AKA?
How important is it?
Yeah.
I know it's very important. There has to be trust. There has to be. I mean, there's nothing more powerful, or nothing more that connects us is the trust. To know that he's trusting that I'm looking out for his best interests, and I'm trusting that he's doing the right things to make sure that we get the business going. We get more, more products. We get the best product, and he trusts me that I can also amplify it. I can make the right connections. It really is. I mean, for him and I, it took. We've been together for 5 years now, right? So it started out where it was, what can you offer me? And then as I show him and as I prove myself, is now the point of, okay, I trust it. So it's like, if you want something, go to Benza. Benza will take care of it. We have our own way of doing things, and it's because it's 5 years in. But for new talent that I take on now, is about me and them building the trust. I can't take it for granted that I've done something great with AK. I'm going to do something great with you. It's not. You can't just take that for granted. You got to know that you can gel with this person. You have the same sort of personality, have the same kind of character, and you can be on the team together. It's a team. It's a teamwork. So if you can't be on the same team with this person, then you shouldn't be in that relationship.
Yeah, it's a partnership.
It's a partnership. It's teamwork. It's you know that when he knows when he's in the studio, I'm out there doing my stuff, for his music and his brand. And I know the same way, when I'm out there doing his stuff, he's back, doing what he has to do as an artist to produce the right things.
Cool. Next question. This one at the front here, and then we'll go to you at the back.
And that's it, right?
Hi there, Benza.
How you doing, man?
Good, man, and you?
All right, all right.
My question goes in terms of, I've watched the relationship of Eminem and Paul Rosenberg, where sometimes Paul Rosenberg steps in and censors Eminem. Do you ever get to a point whereby you're censoring AKA on something? No, dude, you can't say that. No, don't do it like that. Like, even in terms of the music front of things?
Yeah. I mean, it's both ways. You know, like I said, it's a relationship. It's like the relationship you have with your girlfriend or your wife. It's yeah. Sometimes we strategize. Sometimes some things are planned, some things are not, and sometimes it's a bit of no, you can't. No, like you said, no, you can't do that. Let's not do it this way. Let's take it out this way. You know, like for example. The newest example will probably be the Back to the City. You know, he was frustrated with how, how he was being promoted and marketed. It was going against everything we said. And normally, typically, being frustrated like that, he probably would have just sent a rude or a text out and say, "To hell with it, it's over." But he called me and I said, let's talk it through. Let me go back to the promoter and let's try to see if we can work it out and see if he can get it and make correction. But the promoter just wasn't able to make correction. So I went back to him and said, okay, this is what we need to do. We can either do a press release or you can make a statement. He said, I think we should go with a statement and this is what it should look like. And then he wrote the statement. I checked it out and I said, good, let's go. So it's that kind of relationship that we go throughout. You know, and the same thing happened with music. He's 95% in charge of the music. I just listen to it because I know what, he knows what the audience is feeling, but I also know what the programmers and the compilers and, those people are also feeling. So it's a mix of both of us, the music and the business.
Cool. Last question at the back there.
Hello. My question is about the contract between you and AKA, or just the manager and the artist. I would like to know, like you just said, trust is very important between the two of the two. So I would like to know if, like, you're an artist and you obviously, if you're looking for a manager or the manager is looking for an artist, so and you don't, from the start, you don't really have trust, right? And I would like to ask what would you recommend, like how long would the contract, how long do you think the contract should be? Should it be like 5 years for you to test out whether you can work with this manager or not? Or maybe 2 years, I don't know.
Okay. So I can't really tell you how long it should be because different management have different management style. I mean, ours is, we go all in. We go all in from our time, our energy, our network, our connections, even to our funds and financing to help you build your career. So we will want a longer contract because it takes a longer time for a return on investment. So that is in our case. Some managements are just there who are seeking bookings for you, and maybe that relationship can only be strong for a year, and then you need to move on to a stronger team. So it depends on the management that you seek at the moment. They can 1 year could be good, but if it's very strong management company, they would probably want a 3 to 5 years management deal with you. And
Cool.
Sometimes you can put stipulations in your contract as well. You can put targets and goals. You can say after a year, this is where I'm at this point. I put a mixtape out. I'm not getting really much gigs. I am not. My record's not on radio, but for 1 year, I'll try you out. And the goal is that we have 2 records on radio, we have an album that went gold, and we have gigs that are making now $15K a show. And if you can reach that in 1 year, then I will extend it to another 2 years. You can do that as well.
Yeah, management deals are quite complex in terms of the way they can be structured, but I think the fundamental is what you said earlier. It's all about belief in the artist and what they do, and having belief in the trust.
It's the trust. It's the trust. It develops as time goes by, but you can know. I mean, you can like you meet a mate at a club, right, or at the park. You can tell that you have a bond there. You can tell that you have something. It's like meeting a girl that you like. You know that something. If you just work on it some more, it can get bigger and bigger and better. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for being here.
Right.
We've working with Benza has been amazing to bring this whole scholarship online. Super professional and the kind of managers that we need in this country to take us right out there into the stratosphere. So thanks for your energy and believing in us and putting it behind, bro, for SAE and Bridges music, bro.
Thank you, the all.
Cool.